Broadcasting live from SETI Alpha 6 in the Andromeda Galaxy, this is Mr. C.
Well, 8th grade, happy Aloha Friday. I wish I could take you out to the Hawaiian Islands and we do a field trip. Where would we go? There are a lot of places we could go, but one of the really cool trips, I think we need a good snorkel. That would be awesome if we could get a snorkel in. I see you've got all your snorkel gear, got your masks on, got your snorkel tube in your mouth, okay? So, and I think I will take you out, and I'll have a photo up of this. I think we'll go to Kauai, my favorite island, Hawaiian Island, and I think we'll go over the North Shore, and I think we'll snorkel. I've showed you this before at Tunnels Beach. You've got your plastic card, right, that has all of the pictures and names of the tropical fish, the major tropical fish that we're going to see. And one day when I went snorkeling at Tunnels, I saw every butterfly fish that was on my card. I saw right there in the water while I was snorkeling. So I think we'll snorkel there. Then I think we'll take a hike up the Galileo Trail, maybe a mile or so. We'll take a snack out of our backpack and have a drink and look down on KA Beach. And we'll be able to see also Tunnels where we were snorkeling. And then I think we should go back down the trail, Galileo Trail. We were only a mile in. And then I think, because the sun's about ready to go down, I think we should have a beach picnic and cookout. I think we should cook brats. My favorite. I'm not a massive hot dog fan, but if we roast them, that'd be okay. Maybe barbecue burgers, have chips, and you've got to have chips that have beach sand on them. I mean, it's not a beach picnic without chips with sand on them. You got to eat some sand, for your gizzard, your grinder. Okay, let's just see, we're not birds that have gizzards. Okay. Anyway, that sounds fun, doesn't it? I wish we could actually do that. That would be so cool. Okay. Well, we're almost to the weekend, so no weekend homework. I've got a cool knock-knock joke for you at the end of the period. Hope I haven't used it before. It's possible I have and just forgot. But it's worth repeating. So anyway, I'll do that in a little bit. Don't forget the observations in the night sky. So you've got the morning pair. So remember, ask parents' permission. I wouldn't wake them up on Saturday, tomorrow, or Sunday to go out and see them. But maybe your parents are up early anyway, but you've got to ask their permission. So now this morning on my walk, I saw, at what time did you go? 5:40. I saw Venus. It was spectacular. The sky was clear. And I saw Mars. Mars is way over here now, high, but way in the west now. Orangish Mars. And then in the evening, you've got, of course, Jupiter and Saturn getting closer and closer for that conjunction. They're going to put on that conjunction for us in December, which we really appreciate. It's going to be a nice show, so it'll be cool to get to see them. So, and then you might want to look at the Galilean moons. Now, after you saw those Galileo videos, after you saw those, so doesn't it make you want to look at the Galilean moons, see if you can see them? So I'm going to look tonight. I'm looking forward to it. So I'll be going out in a few hours and having a look. I hope I can see several of them. It was just like they looked in Galileo's journal, where he wrote down in his drawings what he had seen, the number of Galilean moons he saw. Now you get why I really enjoyed those videos. Here's why I love that one video, because it showed that this convex lens, you're going to draw one of these in your journal. In fact, where you put your facts about Galileo, I think I asked that you put facts about Galileo's life in your journal. Where you put those, you're going to draw a convex lens. You're going to show on edge, draw it on edge just like this. You're going to show that it's fatter in the center than it is on the edge. Convex, C-O-N-V-E-X. Get it in there. Quick. Convex lens. It was the star of the video. And it was the star of the beginning of the Renaissance in one respect. Here you've got Hans Lippershey over there in Holland in 1608. He grinds some of these, invents them. Somebody else, maybe him, figures out when you put two of them together that they magnify, they bend light and make objects look or appear to be bigger. So somebody figured that out, and then rapidly that idea spread across Europe, and convex lenses fell into the hands of a brilliant mathematician scientist by the name of Galileo Galilei. It's like his parents named him, the same first and last name. I don't know why they weren't creative. I don't get it. I'm kidding. I'm sure there's some reason. I don't know the answer to that mystery. Anyway, Galileo quickly, didn't take him very long, a few months I think, he makes a telescope out of these. Now, he gains favor with the church fathers in the town, Padua maybe, Italy. So, and then he makes several more telescopes, one that has a 20 magnification, 20 power. Okay, and that for then was very powerful telescope. So he manufactures that. He aims it in the next few months at Jupiter, as they said in the video, the gas giant. And he sees little points of light to either the east or west of Jupiter, and he thinks they're stars at first. And then he concludes they're not, because he figures out they are orbiting Jupiter. They're revolving around Jupiter. So he figures that out. And because of that, then he has an aha, like scientists do. Aha! They're orbiting Jupiter. Aha! Just like Earth is orbiting the sun. Aha! The Earth is not, as we've been taught, the center of the solar system. The sun is. So he thinks Jupiter, the Earth, and perhaps the other planets as well that he can see, he sees Venus, are orbiting the sun. So he makes that conclusion. Now it costs him, doesn't it? Okay? Now I have a little aside. Then I want you to write down some things in your journal about Galileo that I have written down here. I want you to put them in your journal. Okay. You RLO people and everybody else, in the next couple of days, look for a Teams message from me in Teams. Now, if you get one, answer me back. Now, why would I do that? Well, I might say, you sent me this test or that assignment, but you didn't attach it. And if you don't attach it on your end, I won't get it. I won't see it. It'll just come up, assignment not attached on my end. So you've got to attach it. So I get a little link to it over on the side that I can click on and look at it. So you've got to link it or attach it. So if you get one of those little messages from me, take care of it. Because there are a number of assignments that haven't come in, and some of them haven't come in because they weren't attached. Some of you just haven't turned them in. Turn them in. Now, if you're in class, put them in the basket next week, early next week. If you're an RLO student, attach them so I can see them. So, anyway, get those taken care of. Okay? All right, back to the Galileo videos. I want you to write these 8 key things about Galileo's life. So down they go. About Galileo. Number 1, you're putting these in your journal where you were supposed to do the bullet facts about the video. 2 videos, actually. Number 1, he was an Italian. He was an Italian. 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 He was from Italy. Padua, I think it was, and then later he moves to Pisa, where the tower was. Yes. He was a scientist and mathematician. So number 2, he was a great scientist and mathematician. What enabled him to do that? He was really smart. And he went to university. And going to the university in the early 1600s, big deal. I think he must have been from a wealthy family, because usually it was only the wealthy people that had the opportunity to go to college, university. So he was a great scientist and mathematician. 3, he was an inventor. What did he invent? A lot of things. But what stands out, and you're going to put down, he invented a telescope, many telescopes. By the way, if you've ever been to Florence, Italy, and some of you have, you may have seen one of his telescopes in a museum. I think they're on display. I'm going to Google that later. I think they're on display in Florence. If it's not Florence, there's somewhere there's a museum in Italy where his telescopes are displayed. You know what's amazing about that? They're 400 years old. That's just, I hope someday I get to go. Like I say, if some of you have been, if you've seen one of Galileo's telescopes in a museum with your own eyes, send me a Teams message. I'd love to share that. That would just be awesome. So he built a refractor telescope. Sorry about my voice, it's allergies. Mr. C, they make allergy medication. I'm taking some. What can I say? It's not working. So he invented a refractor telescope. Refract means to bend light. When I hold up the convex lens and it makes my eye appear larger, it obviously didn't enlarge my eye. It just bends the light to make my eye look larger. That it refracts light. So he built a refractor telescope with convex lenses. R-E-F-R-A-C-T-O-R, refractor telescope. Number 4, he looked at Jupiter and Jupiter's moons. He studied Jupiter and Jupiter's moons. Number 5, he made a conclusion. The sun is the center of the solar system. The sun is the center of the solar system. Amazing discovery. It was amazing. It flipped things over, and people didn't like it because they thought they knew that the earth was the center. They didn't know. They didn't have data for that. They just assumed. He was the father of the scientific method. He gathered data to prove his hypotheses, like the sun's the center. Or like when you drop objects that have different masses from the same height, they'll fall at the same speed. So he basically discovered if you drop a bowling ball and a ping pong ball in a vacuum where there's no air, so that variable's controlled, vacuum, they'll fall at the same speed. If you drop a house and a pancake from the same height at the same time, they'll fall at the same speed. So, anyway. So he was the father of the scientific method. And sadly, he was under house arrest after being convicted of telling lies, scientific lies, which weren't lies. And you know they burned his books and forbid his books to be written. That must have been extremely sad for him. Don't you wish we could bring him back today and interview him and honor him and tell him just how much we appreciate his great scientific accomplishments? Wouldn't that be fun to bring Galileo back and interview him? Wow, that would be so cool. It just would be really, really, really neat. Well, anyway, those were the key things about the video. Now, I'd like you to take a highlighter out, and I'd like you to take out LS2. LS2. Here it is, LS2. LS2. And I want you to highlight these things. These are the things that I want you to know. So, and we'll go over these next week. We'll review them next week, but I want you to know these things, okay? Then we'll go over the microscope parts, and then I've got a knock-knock joke for you, and then I have a video for you, a short video about 5 minutes. You'll love it. It's really cool. Good way to end up a happy Aloha Friday. Okay, here we go. So, looking inside cells, you're going to highlight some things. First, you're going to highlight right here, each kind of cell structure has a different function within a cell, different job. Well, it's like, of course, Jesus made each cell part to do a different job to keep the cell alive. You know, to do the GRL functions, help it grow, help it reproduce, help it live. So each kind of cell structure has a different function within a cell. All right, the first one is a protector of a human cell and animal cell. Highlight it. It's the cell membrane. You know it. It acts like a filter, and it only lets things that are supposed to get into the cell in, keeps other things out. It's a barrier, a filter, the cell membrane. Highlight it right here. It controls the movement of materials into and out of the cell. Next, highlight the word organelle. You can see it right there, organelle. And these are specialized parts that Jesus made to do specific jobs in the cell. They prove God made the cell. They're so complex. So organelle, right there, highlight that. And again, what it says about organelles, these are specialized like parts. Above organelle, you could put parts. And then you've got cytoplasm. Finally, Mr. C, we get to see how it's spelled. Well, there it is, cytoplasm right there. Highlight it. Now you're working with me on this. Highlight cytoplasm. See what it says about it. It's a gel-like material in, you know how I did cell membrane and then the cytoplasm. And the organelles are suspended in this thick gel-like substance called the cytoplasm. Then you've got the control center of the cell. What is it? Say it. The nucleus, of course. Highlight nucleus. You're highlighting these. You're going to be responsible for these. So if you're bored over the weekend, review these. Go over them. You don't have to. I said only if you're bored. There are some of you that actually wouldn't mind spending 5 minutes, 8 minutes reviewing these. You wouldn't mind. Would you have, Mr. C, when you were in 8th grade? Thumb up, thumb down, what do you think? No, I probably wouldn't have. I probably would have been out throwing baseballs or footballs. Yeah. So, anyway. But in college, I would have. Okay? The nucleus, see what it says? It directs the cell's activities. It's like the control center. Then you've got the lysosomes. So highlight that. They break food down into smaller particles that the cell can use. So highlight lysosomes. Then you've got, now I don't want to scare you, but be ready. Okay? I'm gonna probably freak you out now. So do you see mitochondria next? Highlight it. Read what it says. It does. It changes stored energy from the food that you eat into energy the cell can use. That's why I call it the mighty mitochondria. Mr. C, tone it down. It's almost Friday. Trying to catch up on my rest already. So mitochondria, it changes the stored energy in the cell into energy that'll power the cell that it can use. Mighty mitochondria. Do that with me once. Everyone do it on the count of 3. Do it now. Come on. Cooperate with me. Do it. Mighty mitochondria. 1, 2, 3. Mighty mitochondria. Okay. Just trying to help you remember it. Trying to lock it in. Then up there on the top, you see you've got ribosomes right up there, upper right-hand corner. Mr. C, what is it? Ribosomes, right? What do they do? Well, here's what I have. I have a little way to help you remember. Right above ribosomes, I'd like you to write RBP. 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 Right above ribosomes. You got it? Here's what it stands for. RBP. Ribosomes build proteins. RBP. Ribosomes build proteins. RBP. Ribosomes build proteins. All right, we'll do it one time with me. Say it out loud. Okay? I don't mind if you gently. I said gently. Period 2. Really gently. Okay? You may, on the table, go, don't knock over your divider. So on the table, not hard. RBP. Ribosomes build proteins. One more time. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. RBP. Ribosomes build proteins. Okay, so we'll get to that later. Cross out endoplasmic reticulum, the ER. Cross out Golgi apparatus. Yay! Those look kind of complicated. They're not so much, but you don't need to know those. So you've crossed out endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus. You've crossed those out. Okay. Then you've got vacuoles next. I want you to know that. Now here's the way I do vacuoles. It starts with V. Vacuoles. Vacuoles are like storage containers for a cell. Things are stored in there. Waste, energy, chemicals. Vacuoles are storage containers. So make a little V to help you remember and go V, vacuole. And do that little storage motion. Vacuoles store things in the cell. They're very tiny. They're hollow. They store water and other things. It's structures where the cell can store water, food, or wastes. Vacuoles, storage containers. Okay. Kind of cool. Then you have the two parts that green plant cells have. And next week when we do a little mini microscope unit or a micro microscope unit, so when we do that, you'll look at some green plant cells. You'll see their breathing pores. They're called stomata. You'll see them. No, it's not tomata. It's stomata, the little breathing pores in green plant cells. You'll see those. It's really cool. Look forward to seeing those. So you'll be making some drawings, kind of like Galileo did, but you'll do it in your journal of things that you see through another kind of scope or viewer, a microscope. A viewer of tiny things, not a telescope, not a viewer of things that are far away. Telescope. Anyway, Mr. C, stick to it. What are the two things that green plant cells have that human and animal cells don't have? You already know this. They have a thick cell wall. Thick cell wall. Do that in the air on the count of 3. Do it. It'll help you remember it. Don't, careful of the divider. You're going to go thick cell wall. Count of 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Thick cell wall. One thing that green plant cells have that human and animal cells don't have. And then the second thing is, you're highlighting these right down here. And then you've got chloroplasts. Chloroplasts. And you know what they have in them. What do they have in them? The green pigment in a green plant. What do you call it? Chlorophyll. Chlorophyll. And you know what it's for. When sunlight, it's so complex, the way Jesus made it. It's a complex chemical. The way Jesus made chlorophyll is that when sunlight hits it, it will change, cause a chemical change, and cause sugars to be produced in the green plant. Is that an accident? Are you kidding me? No way. It was designed by God to keep green plants alive. So as you're walking around this weekend and you're looking at grass with chlorophyll in it, or trees that have leaves with chlorophyll in it, or cacti that have chlorophyll in them, so, or I'm trying to think, Palo Verde tree, verde, green, right? Palo Verde tree that actually has chlorophyll in the trunk. So they're making energy. As sunlight hits them, they're making sugars to keep their cells alive. Notice what it says about chloroplasts. They capture the energy in sunlight to power the process the plant uses to make its own food. By its own food, put sugar. Put AKA sugar. Own food, sugar. Down there at the bottom. Sugar. Really cool. We'll give God glory on that. Way to go. Making chlorophyll, designing chlorophyll. Okay, it's about time. You've got to see this video that's really going to be cool. But first, I've got my knock-knock joke for you. So get ready to roll your eyes. It's a groaner, but, I like it, though. You would, Mr. C. Okay? Knock, knock. Who's there? I could hear it. Candace. Candace who? Can this joke get any worse than it is? So, love it, huh? Okay, hope you have a good weekend. Happy Aloha Friday. Enjoy this little video. Okay? So, and in your journal, I'd like you to write down the name of the video as you watch it and write down 4 or 5 bullet facts on it, facts that you learn as you watch it. Anyway, again, have a great weekend. Planet OBS, okay? Night sky observations. Good luck on the Galilean moons. Hope you get a chance to see one. They're awesome.